Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome to our next round of the WMC. We are here at the first uh, city circuit, essentially, of the year. We're here in Cape Town. There is no rain expected, as would be expected of South Africa at this time of year. Tarasova setting the standard. Ooh, Araujo Azevedo taking over there from Maglich, in fact. Very interesting. Tarasova needs to pull something out here to re-establish her usual dominance. They're on their outlap for their second lap now. Here we go. Araujo Azevedo goes fastest in all three sectors. What a lap! What a lap! Tarasova just can't compete. She's 10th back. And there we go. There's our lineup. It's Araujo Azevedo, Tarasova, Maglich, Ching, Pessinen, Lucas, Eriksson, Nishimura, Markovic, and Pallison. Interesting. Like Marcos Araujo Azevedo really riding high off his event last week, but it's raining. The weather has turned. We're going to have at very least some intermediates out there on track from the start, and when everyone's going to change is going to be extremely interesting. So here we go. Araujo Azevedo and Tarasova on the front row. It's lights out and away we go. Araujo Azevedo gets a great start. Tarasova gets a terrible one. Maglich is away into second place. Completely blitzes them off the line. Tell you what, everyone back from about the third row though from the second row rather, did not have a great start either. Tarasova leads Markovic through this complicated twisty section here. Now they go round the roundabout and it's my goodness, there's so many changes I couldn't even begin to tell you. Maglich is going up the outside of Araujo Azevedo and he's got him. Great move. Fantastic move there from Maglich. Right when Araujo Azevedo was caught napping almost. So we have Maglich now leading from Araujo Azevedo, from Tarasova, from Markovic, from Ching, from Klein, from Forst, from Pallison, from Guay, from Eriksson. Lucas, of course, dropping down a bit there, along with Nishimura and Pessinen, three extremely talented racers, quite a long way down the field. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when we go back onto the dry tyre compounds, because we do actually have three of the softest compounds available. We have ultra softs, super softs, and softs in order of softest to hardest tyres. So it should be quite interesting to see how this all plays out. Araujo Azevedo backing up the field a little bit there. Tarasova and Markovic behind him. Ching, again doing surprisingly well here in the wet, despite his dislike for changeable conditions, and Forst for some reason in 6th. Really showing improvement, or rather showing an impressive display. He is 31. I don't know how much more improving he's got to do. Let's jack up the speed a little bit and we can watch an overtake there in the background. An attempted overtake from Forst on Ching didn't come to anything. Let's scroll back a little bit. Look at this small procession of cars back here. Ching, Forst, Klein, and Guay. Oh, Ching's looking like he might have Markovic's. No, he hasn't. He's completely misjudged it. Forst has taken him. There you go. Ching, just not a great wet weather racer, or at very least not an intermediate. Mind you, Forst went wide there, and Ching's taken him back. There's a lot of mistakes coming in from Maple Street Motorsports today, but they haven't lost any positions through it, apart from to Klein there, or no major positions rather. And Forst is actually looking like he could challenge Klein here. The veteran German looking surprisingly quick, although is that Guay going for an overtake, I think. Didn't manage to make it stick, but nonetheless, quite a fascinating track this. It's so narrow and there's so many places to overtake, but so few places to get a good run in which to overtake. You've got this kind of long straight with a kink in the middle of it that won't allow you to get a good run in, and this turn just doesn't lend itself to overtaking. And then this entire back half of the track is just turn after turn after turn, and it's technically demanding, but so difficult to overtake on. This is a great overtaking place. The long kind of hairpin, the right-hand hairpin, but then you're back into these complex series of chicanes, and then finally back round onto the long start-finish straight with, again, a kink in the middle of it, right back before you go on to the other side. So let's wait and see. There's a lot of water out there on the track right now. Still, not enough to require full wet tires, but definitely enough to be out here on mediums for at least another few laps. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when the rain stops, which it should be stopping any minute now. When the rain stops and when the water starts dying off, and the rain has in fact now stopped. There is still copious amounts of water on the track, but soon, very soon, they'll be thinking of switching to dries. And it's quite interesting since, to be honest, lots of people's tires are falling off already. As you can see, the observer cars come in to switch to dry tires, along with Forst. And Araujo Azevedo comes in for softs. So the hardest compound, remember, maybe trying to steal a march and everyone else. He's certainly in the best position there now in 14th. Maglic is coming in. Here comes in everyone, pretty much. So with Maglic coming in, we'll see where Araujo Azevedo is. He's a long way back. He won't make it out in front of Maglic, you would assume, especially with such a short pit lane here. Look at that. It just puts you straight back onto the track. I had Maglic, Kernak, Crazy Cars stacking cars, but it's the right thing to do here. Tarasova going on to Ultra Softs. And here we go. Maglic from Araujo Azevedo in second, and Tarasova in a very promising position there. She's got the Ultra Soft. She's got to try moving him quickly, because those Ultra Softs drop off very, very quickly. But while they don't, they're lightning fast, and she's going to get him here. Ooh, is she though? Is she? Look at that. He comes back to her. Extra drive through the inside. He's going to have to brake early to make it around the hairpin, and Tarasova makes it stick around the outside. Great racing from both of them. Very respectful. No collisions, no slowdowns. Not getting into each other's way. And look at the rate with which she's catching Maglic. The speed of those Ultra Softs is absolutely astounding compared to the regular soft tires there. Although you can already see she's nearly a quarter of the way through her tire already. It's been a couple of laps, and those things fall off extremely hard. So she needs to get past now, pretty much within this next lap, if she's going to benefit from this at all. And Maglic is doing a great job of putting his car where she can't overtake him. Really great veteran driving stuff. And they're both pulling away from Araujo Azevedo. Interestingly enough, we've got Klein, Singh, Morel, Markovic, Palace, and Gouet, and then Nishimura's just taken 10th. Forst has completely dropped off the pace, and is nowhere near the leaders anymore. But that is to be expected. Tarasova, it feels like her window for passing has well passed, I suppose. She's a second back now, and Maglic has maybe a couple of laps more of a tyre advantage before Maglic can just use that added traction, that added pace to just put time into her, and he's maintaining at a solid 1 second gap at the moment, which isn't helping her at all. Tarasova, of course, not winning the last race. Araujo Azevedo managing to sweep home to take the win in Munich, so she'll be looking to restore that. Look at this, she's getting close, but she can't make it stick, and her tyres, there you go, she's finally first, but there you go, immediately the tyres fall off the pace. She took him, and now look, she's 2 seconds back, 2.5. Look at how quickly those Ultra Softs drop off. 3.5. She's getting caught by Araujo Azevedo. She's nearly down to 4 seconds, and it's blessed respite for her that the pit lane is right close, because she was losing time extremely quickly there. It is astounding how quickly they drop off there. And Tarasova all the way now. Tarasova, interestingly enough, having to put on an old set of softs. Now, I wonder what their plan is there. Are they running out of tires already, or do they have some kind of plan? Maybe they feel they don't need a fresher set. It's hard to say. Anyway, Maglic now leading from 5 seconds from Araujo Azevedo. Naomi Klein in third. Everyone in the entire grid on the hardest soft compound now. It'll be quite interesting to see who's going to opt for super softs, or who thinks they can nurse through a pair of ultras until the end. Naomi Klein looks likely to come in this next lap, having a pair of softs that aren't looking great. She decides not to. She's staying out, which is probably not the best idea. She's now coming in. Here we go. The pit stop has started. Maglic stayed out. Araujo Azevedo is in. Klein is in. Those two are in, so I mean Giles is in, but who cares? Araujo Azevedo is back out to 6th place, a pretty good position for him to be in. 31 seconds back. Maglic has got a significant advantage here, but if he doesn't pit, and he's not pitting, you wonder how much time he's going to lose here. Araujo Azevedo, remember, 32 seconds back there. He stayed out for another lap, Maglic, and luckily it's a short lap here. He's going onto softs, interestingly enough. Markovic gets past him. Singh is just behind him. Araujo Azevedo is behind him as well. About the same gap between him and Araujo Azevedo. I wonder whether Markovic will slow up and let him pass, or whether he's going to slow his teammate back a bit. Oh, slow his teammate up a bit. Luckily, it's not something they have to wonder on too much, since it's such a short lap. I'd Maglic. Oh, hello, he ran wide there. He ran wide. And look, Araujo Azevedo is right on his tail. That was an awful place to run wide as well, in the middle of a long sweeping bend. Ran wide, had to slow down to keep his car out of the wall, and now Araujo Azevedo is right on his tail, and that's not going to be so much of an issue for the next few laps. But as the race wears on and Araujo Azevedo's harder tyres get more and more worn in, or rather less worn compared to Maglic's, that could well end up telling. Maglic has to pull out a significant gap now, whilst he still can. Tarasova, meanwhile, into the pits again, onto Ultrasoft. So that was their plan. Their plan was to use those semi-used soft tyres, then put her onto 6 laps of Ultrasoft. She doesn't need to worry about tyre deg. She doesn't need to worry about fuel too much. She just needs to put it around as quickly as possible. I think they've resigned to not winning the race, but they considered this would be the best situation to try and make her as many points as possible. Bear in mind, she doesn't need to do anything ridiculous at this point in the championship. She's got a healthy lead, so we'll keep an eye on that. We'll probably stick with them for a little bit whilst we keep an eye on Maglic and Araujo Azevedo. She's already up on Nishimura. Look at the speed difference. Look at it, just no effort required. The speed of those Ultrasofts is absolutely ludicrous. Of course, with these current fueling regulations, we do tend to see a bias towards harder tyres because of the way that you have to schedule around fuel stops. Means that it's more likely for you to run out of grip on your tyres than it is for you to run out of fuel, assuming that you're fully fueling your tanks, which most teams do. So this is why we're seeing so many of the harder compounds in these races. If next year's regulations bring maybe no refueling, maybe we'll see a difference. It's hard to tell. Or, in fact, even if they bring smaller fuel tanks, you might see a difference as well, because then they'd be more in line. But we shall see. Araujo Azevedo now 4.4 seconds off. Tarasova hunting down Pallison. A huge tyre advantage. She's really got the advantage here. You wonder whether... Look at that. Nishimura's having to pit. Interesting. Unusual. A very bad time to pit, in fact, with 2 laps remaining. But again, these fuel regulations do lead to some interesting choices. Araujo Azevedo now down to 3.7 gap. He's going to try and mount a late charge, a 1-lap charge of Maglic, whose tyres are falling off a bit, but it's going to be very late. Too late, surely. 2.5 seconds. That's a lot of time lost in one corner. 2.1, 2.0. Surely he can't do it. 1.4. 1.2, even if he catches him, he still needs to pass him. 1 second. 0.8, 0.6. They're coming into the final straight. Oh, he's going to get him. He's got him. Araujo Azevedo takes Maglic in the last corner complex and takes the win. What a win. 2 in a row for Araujo Azevedo. Meanwhile, Hit Singh comes in 3rd. Markovic 4th. Klein in 5th. Tarasova takes Pallison in that same corner complex to finish 6th. Forced in 8th, Pesna 9th, and De Toro 10th. What a result that was for Araujo Azevedo. He timed that perfectly. I thought it was going to be too late. Everyone thought it was going to be too late. But what an outstanding race that was from him. That makes it 2 in a row. And suddenly Start and Park Racing's mediocre season has gone to actually a genuinely good one. What a result for the Brazilian. Fantastic racing. And Ide Maglic must be absolutely devastated after that. His tyres, he didn't look after them well enough. And eventually, we were talking about it earlier in the race, the tyres came back, the balance of power with the tyres came back towards Marcos Araujo Azevedo, and Maglic couldn't do anything about it. He didn't have the pace, he didn't have the smoothness. Broughton Cocktail, weirdly enough, despite only finishing 5th and 6th, did pretty well. Naomi Klein had a fantastic recovery drive, 9 places up from her qualifying position, so they'll still do pretty decently in the constructor standings. Marco Forst, a fantastic drive for him. In fact, Maple Street Motorsports as a whole, a pretty successful race. Yeah, what an exciting one at the first of our street circuits. Look at that, the gap has been cut to 41. It's very interesting to see all of a sudden Marcos Araujo Azevedo turning out to be Ina Tarasova's closest rival at this stage of the season. And that gap that looked so insurmountable 2 races ago is coming down steadily. A lot can change. A lot can change. Look at that. 6. Braun Cocktail now only 6 points ahead of Konak Racing Cars. Start Park Racing, of course, now into 3rd. Wow. Wow. What a race here at Cape Town. Thank you all for joining us. And now for a message from our sponsors.
ハッピーセット
ハッピーセット
レディーゴー
She's got a smile that it seems to me reminds me of childhood memories where everything was as fresh as the bright blue sky. Now and then when I see her face, she takes me away to that special place. And if I stayed too long, I'd probably break down and cry. Oh, sweet child of mine.
Since 2000, speeding has killed a classroom of our children.
Oh,
Shame on you.
sweet love of mine.
You can never control the consequences if you speed.
Hello, and welcome to Guildford for the second race of our double header for today. We've had a relatively quiet practice. There hasn't been any inclement weather to speak of, but this is Britain, so who knows? And we set off here in qualifying, and look, there's already rain. There's already rain. It looks like they're going to maybe have to go on to inters for this first lap, maybe switch off it for their second. Look at that, yeah, the inters were already dominating there on the first lap. So that's their banker. It's going to be interesting to see who pulls it out for the dry tyre. They're all going to have to nail their one lap. Schweitzer goes fastest. Pallison, Lucas, Ericsson. Nishimura can only take third. Araujo Azevedo second. Tarasova, Pesonen goes second. Pesonen goes second. Markovic, wow. The top 10. Tarasova, Pesonen, Markovic, Lucas, Ching, Araujo Azevedo, Ericsson, Maglic, Klein, and Nishimura. Tarasova, after a disappointing couple of races, really re-establishing dominance at the top there with 2/10 advantage ahead of Matti Pesonen. Here we are then, the race. We aren't expecting any kind of big weather for this either. It looks like everything should be dry. Here we go. It's lights out and away we go. Tarasova gets a poor start. So does Paisinen. Markovic just blocked out. He was going quicker. He's going to dive up the inside. He's going to get up the inside. What a move. Is that Ching? Ching's going through. Eriksson's gone through. Everyone's overtaking Paisinen. Klein's gone through. Paisinen had a terrible... Tarasova, rather, had a terrible start. Lucas goes through. She's going backwards. Araujo Azevedo is ahead of her. Maglic is ahead of her. Eriksson has taken first. Eriksson has taken first. Look at this trio of cars here. Naomi Klein is in third. Eriksson in first, followed by Ching, followed by Klein, followed by Markovic, by Araujo Azevedo, Lucas, Maglic, Tarasova, Paisinen and Anene. It speaks volumes of how bad the front two starts were, that they're now in 8th and 9th, which is a shocking first lap for them. But look at Havana Eriksson currently leading the race. Havana Eriksson leading the race. Araujo Azevedo looking to overtake Markovic there, and he manages it with a very nice move, under braking. Oh, is that Zach Lucas looking on the inside of Vinko Markovic now as well? He's not going to get it, but it was close. Very close. Klein is looking to take advantage of Ching's slightly dodgy corner there, but everyone just about holds it together. Klein, of course, on the softs as opposed to the super softs. Giles got a drive-through penalty somewhere in there, apparently. God knows what for. Interesting. So Klein's had a great start to the race there with her soft tyres. Especially if you look back, Tarasova and Pearson are now marooned in the midfield on super softs. They're going to have a huge task to overhaul things. Araujo Azevedo, of course, will see this as an opportunity after 2 race wins in the last 2 races. He is going to have a huge amount of he's going to make up a huge amount of points if he can win this, and Tarasova finishes down around 8th or 9th, really. Further back, let's have a look. De Toro didn't do great. Nishimura's gone backwards as well, although there is a little knot of drivers here. He looks like he's just overtaken Morel there. Just about. No, Morel gets him under braking, but he's going to stay side by side. He's got the inside line, but no, he just gets boxed out. Good driving by Morel there. Klein's getting hunted there by Araujo Azevedo. He's got the inside line. Oh, she squeezes him narrow, but he just makes it stick. Great driving again from Araujo Azevedo. Markovic now. Markovic and Lucas both looking quite racy behind Klein there. Oh, Markovic is darting all over the place looking for an opening. He just had to pull out of that one. He had to pull out of that one as well. He could have been braver and gone for it, I think. He's going to get it this time, though. Markovic takes it. He's left the door open for Lucas as well. Klein's trying to come back on the outside. Oh, she doesn't manage to take it back. She does manage to hold off Lucas, though. Probably a good result. Lucas on the inside, though. Lucas! Oh, what a move. Fantastic move. Maglic now. Klein going backwards. The Braun Cocktail cars having a terrible day so far. Tarasova is just behind them both. So I wonder if she'll try and take advantage. She is. Look at her. Look, there she goes up the outside of Ide Maglic. Maglic holds it just together, and now it's a drag race. Klein gone backwards. What the hell happened to Klein? Klein, has she got issues? I don't know. I think she must have just been absolutely out-dragged there by 3 cars. Payson and Maglic and Tarasova all take her. Tarasova the big winner of that exchange, but Maglic is on her tail. Paysonen's trying up the inside of Maglic now. Paysonen takes it. What a move. Paysonen just stuck to Tarasova's tail, as he has been throughout the race and qualifying. But here comes Maglic. He's going to try and retake it. Can't do it. Didn't have the angle. Naomi Klein staying in touch, staying within arm's reach of him. But Tarasova now pulling out a little gap from those 3. She needs to get in a huge few laps now to reel people in. And make sure that she can salvage what has been an awful first lap for her. Oh, Maglic has crashed. Maglic is out. Maglic went straight into the wall. Oh, what a terrible result for Kernel Crazy Cars there. Markovic still their remaining car in 4th. But the real strength of Kurnow Crazy Cars has been their machinery and complementing the kind of. I mean, there's no denying that Markovic and Maglic, whilst good drivers, aren't the superstars that you see in another team like Zach Lucas, Nina Tarasova, even Marty Persson, despite his travails this season. And so losing one of their two cars in this race is already a big blow. That consistency is really what's been getting them points here. They are still ahead of their closest Constructors' Championship competitors, Braun Cocktail, but that's not a great sign for them. Kalua and Nene doing quite well here, actually, just sitting behind Klein. He's on the softs, getting hunted down a little bit by Nishimura, who, I think for the first time in recorded history, oh, great move on him, isn't using medium tyres. Mediums, of course, are hardest tyre compound for this weekend. Klein sitting in not a bad position. I wonder if Ching and Araujo Azevedo are going to pit. They are. In they come. Now, I wonder what they're going to go for here. Ching is going on to softs, as is Araujo Azevedo. So, Ericsson stays out. She's now 4 seconds ahead of Vinko Markovic. It's been a fantastic race for the Swede so far. Really putting in. I mean, her moves were fantastically enterprising in the first lap, and she really put herself in a position to get away from the rest of them. There she goes. She's pitting. Markovic still waiting yet. His pit stop isn't confirmed. Lucas holding up Tarasova a bit here, but he will be coming in to pit any second now as soon as they get back into it. There you go. They're all in. All of them in. Everyone comes in. This is going to be a pit crew battle. It's really going to be interesting to see who makes it out there first. This is a long pit stop from Lucas. Look at how long it's taken him. He's onto softs. That's not a good pit stop for him. Havana Eriksson came in, and she comes out in first. Or rather, in first of all of the cars there. She also blocks off Markovic from taking her on the exit there. But Markovic is very close. It was a fantastic pit stop for Kurnow Crazy Cars there. Araujo Azevedo now with an even better one. In fact, Araujo Azevedo and Ching managed to properly utilize that pit stop in order to leapfrog their rivals with the overcut. And now they are in virtual first and second, assuming, of course, that there aren't any other particularly big incidents in this pit window for the rest of them. And it looks like, as we just speed up to get rid of this, yeah, Klein's still out there. Klein's still out there and building herself a nice lead, but she's going to come in, and she's only 16 seconds ahead, so I suspect she will find herself behind her competitors. Araujo Azevedo is coming around here on this long, sweeping right-hander into the chicane and round, and he will be taking first position. You can see Naomi Klein there in the pits, falling back a bit, 6th, 7th, 8th. She'll probably come out in the top 10, which is good for her. And Nene and Pallison, look at that. Pallison and Nene release side by side, and they release straight into a wheel-to-wheel duel. Pallison, of course, still nursing an injury, as you can see from her crash a few weeks back. And Nene manages to take it, I think. What a fantastic move from him. Brilliant stuff from the young African driver there. Nishimura now looking up the inside, and De Toro chasing both of them down. Interesting to note there that Tarasova went on to mediums as we still watch this battle from Pallison. Nishimura looking extremely racy, barged out of the way almost by Pallison. Gave him no room. Not the most ambassadorial stuff, but Nishimura's been around the game long enough to understand and appreciate a bit of hard racing when he sees it. And Nene is getting away from this trio of drivers here. And Nene, who's had an unspectacular season, frankly. He had that one race in Black Sea where he briefly led, but apart from that, he's been completely anonymous, more or less. Britta Pallison trying to keep in touch with him. He had a bit of an iffy corner there. Let's leave these guys to it and have a look at some of the other battles across track. So, Araujo Azevedo leading by 2.5 seconds from Ching, who is himself about 2.5 seconds ahead of Havana Eriksson. who has kept Markovic behind her impressively. Tarasova on the mediums, making them work very well, is 6.5 seconds back from the leader. Behind her, Zach Lucas, who will want to be getting past her as soon as possible in order to utilize those softs if he can, and he's already looking quite enterprising with his moves. He's on her tail. He should be faster. He does have that tire advantage, and that won't last for too much longer. So you're assuming that he will want to try and take her as quickly as possible. He can't quite get within overtake range of her. Maybe something to do with dirty air. Maybe it's still because he's nursing that injury he got from a shunt a couple of weeks ago. But it looks like he can't quite get in touch. So we will leave them to it. Ahead, Markovic is within touch of Havana Eriksson, who is herself catching Ching a little bit, but Markovic closing rapidly. This could be very good for Ina Tarasova. If the two of them start fighting, she will be able to close up to the back of them, and hopefully for her, she would be able to get past them quickly and leave Zach Lucas to navigate his way past. As you can see, it's all bunching up a little. We'll see. We'll increase the tempo, and we'll see what happens as we approach the second pit window. 12 laps remaining. Rafa Azevedo off the front, but burning through his tyres. He will probably have to pit in about 2 laps, you would imagine. The same goes for Tsing. Neither of them have really put enough time into their chases to leave them in a comfortable position at all. This is all very up in the air. Although Rafa Azevedo has now got 3 seconds on Tsing. And Lucas took Tarasova there, but Tarasova's coming back at him and gets him as well. Brilliant move. Excellent stuff. Really, really good racing. And Lucas dropping back a bit. Rafa Azevedo now presumably coming into the pits, and he does, and Tsing follows him. They're going to drop back a bit. I wonder what he's going on to. He's going on to softs. That should take him till the end of the race. Tsing likewise goes on to softs. They should both be racing. And he's Rafa Azevedo, of course, been dropped into the middle of 2 teammates, Guay and Morel, though he has just been taken by Guay and is now racing with him. It's hard to say who's going to... If he's lucky, if he's good, he could take both of them in one fell swoop as they battle. Trying around the outside, doesn't manage it. Goes up the inside, does manage it. Now he'll need to clear... he would need to clear Morel. But she appears to be coming into the pits, along with, one suspects, indeed, the leaders. Havana Eriksson is in. Pessonen. Who's that? Is that Markovic has got out ahead of Eriksson? I think he has. He's on Supersoft as well. So he's got the choice tyre, and he's out ahead of Eriksson. Now, I wonder if he's going to go too long on those prime Supersoft tyres. Klein, meanwhile, is into the pits. Anene leads the Grand Prix. In the meantime, Klein into the pits. She rejoins behind Markovic, behind Pessonen, in fact, all the way down in 13th. Kalua Anene surely must be coming into the pits now with a slim margin over... Well, it's very fascinating to see what these tyre strategies are. Barnes has crashed. Virtual safety car. Oh, that will help Anene. That will help him a lot. Rafa Azevedo. Anene might come out in third, in second even. Kalua Anene's out there in second, ahead of Hitsing, ahead of Markovic, Nishimura, Pallison, Eriksson, Lucas, Pessonen, and Klein. I mean, it was lucky, frankly, and he's on those prime super soft tyres, and he's easily got enough tread on them to get to the end of the race. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to pan out. Rafa Azevedo definitely has the advantage here, but Anene is slowly eating into his lead. The described project driver now has a genuine chance of winning this Grand Prix. Rafa Azevedo may find himself hunted down and overtaken in the last lap, just as he hunted down the opposition car in the last lap of the last Grand Prix. Well. Where is Tarasova? Tarasova's down in 11th behind her teammate. It's not been a good race for Braun Cocktail. They looked enterprising. They looked quite racy, but they've been screwed over by bad driving and a bit of bad luck at times as well. Pessonen defending from Naomi Klein. Anene now only 2.5 seconds back from Rafa Azevedo. I wonder, could he do it? 2.5 seconds. Rafa Azevedo I think pulling out all the stops now to just stay ahead of him. Those soft tyres are slower now, and they'll continue getting slower as time goes on. Those super softs, though, in their prime, looking good. 3.2 seconds. He's pulled it out a little bit. Anene perhaps saving his tyres a bit for a last-ditch tilt in the very last lap. I wonder what's going to happen. Anene 2.8, 2.7, 2.6, 2.5. This is the last lap, 2.4. I don't think he's going to get him, but I said that last Grand Prix as well. I think Arejo Azevedo has enough on his tyres, enough life to stay ahead. He does. It looks like he's going to take it. For a third Grand Prix in the row, Arejo Azevedo sweeps home to take first. Kalua Anene with a fantastic second place. Hit Singh in third. Nishimura overtakes Markovic to take fourth. Tarasova, meanwhile, has overtaken Naomi Klein. Maybe a bit of team orders there, but here is your top 10. Arejo Azevedo, Anene, Singh, Nishimura, Markovic, Pallison, Eriksson, Lucas, Payson and Tarasova. What an exciting Grand Prix. There was no rain here. There was rain in qualifying, but no rain during the race. But it's given us a fantastic Grand Prix nonetheless. Look at that! What a race and what a result again for Starton Park Racing, who are really displaying a certain mid-season dominance now. Come out of pretty much nowhere. They were very mid-table before, and now they're looking great all of a sudden. Ina Tarasova, you feel, still is the driver to beat here, but she's getting consistently out-strategized and out-driven in some of these races. Look at that. A fantastic race from Kalua Anene. Really, really good. The best of his young career. Britta Pallison with a great recovery drive as well. Ina Tarasova and Naomi Klein will not be happy with their results. Ina Tarasova, of course, dropping 9 places, most of them in that horrendous first lap. Naomi Klein usually manages to find herself, despite being a bad qualifier, usually manages to find herself much higher up in the list, but simply hasn't. Really didn't take good advantage there. Vinko Markovic with a fine 5th place. I mean, he started in 3rd, so it's not great. Considering Ide Maglic's crash, it's not been a good day for Kernow Crazy Cars. Look at the gap in the Drivers' Championship standings. Marcos Araujo Azevedo cutting Ina Tarasova's lead to 17. Ide Maglic dropping to 5th as a result of his crash. Vinko Markovic and Hit Singh in 3rd and 4th, respectively. Kernow Crazy Cars now go top, despite all that, of the team's championship standings. Braun Cocktail in 2nd, a gap of 3. Starton Park Racing are now in 3rd after their series of fantastic results, overtaking Gorski and the Funky Bunch. I believe the term that one would use there is mind the gap. What a fantastic weekend of racing. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time.